athlete and gymnast Leah Clapper to the show. Leah, how are you this morning?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining the show today. Leah, how obviously great season thus far for the Florida Gators gymnastics program. But tell me, how are you guys feeling going into the postseason here?
We're feeling great. We've been putting in a ton of work this whole season and, of course, preseason as well. We've had quite a bit of practice out there competing this season, and we're ready to take all the lessons we've learned every week and put up the best fight we can throughout postseason. And I think it's going to be a great one.
Leah, what was it like? Not last Friday, 2 Fridays ago, I think, for senior day. The crowd looked like they kind of stayed around and as you guys were taking pictures with parents and family, and I'm sure that's emotional. You being a graduate student, and Trinity being a super senior as well, and just the team and you girls have been around each other so much between practice throughout the years. What was it like just to win that meet and then be able to be with each other and be with your families there with fans still there cheering for you?
Senior night last week was definitely a super special night. I mean, it's very bittersweet because we've had so many amazing experiences in the O-Dome. I'm so incredibly grateful for my 5 years here as a Florida Gator, and I think it all hit us that, hey, this is the last time we get to experience Gator Nation in full force rooting for us in the O-Dome. I personally got more emotional when we ran out into the crowd at the beginning of the meet, because that is one of my favorite parts of the night, when the lights go down and everybody has their phone flashlights up and they're like, here comes the Gators, and we run out and everybody is yelling, and it's just a crazy feeling every time. I can't wipe the smile off my face, and I have this moment of, I can't believe I get to be here doing this with these nearly 10,000 supporters right here in the arena rooting us on. And as soon as the lights come on, it's go time. It's all right, now we got to do some flips and support each other. And I got a little bit of that emotional piece out of the way at the beginning. And then we won the SEC regular season championship for the 5th year in a row that night, which honestly blows my mind. It doesn't, though, because we put in the work, and I mean, not to our own horn or anything, but Gators Gymnastics is pretty good. And just seeing that legacy that our class has gotten to be a part of, winning the first regular season championship 5 years ago and then continuing that trend our entire Gator careers, is such a blessing and so much fun. It's one of those moments where you look back and you're like, wow, we really did that. And just the teamwork and the dynamics of our team and the commitment that everybody has put in over the years. This year, nothing less than any other year beforehand, if not more determination and excitement for the Gators. So it was definitely a special night for sure.
Leah, give us your backstory a little bit, and then I want to get into some of the things that you're doing with NIL. How did you decide to attend the University of Florida? Touch us a little bit about your career leading up to that point, obviously given the opportunity to compete at the University of Florida.
I had a bit of a whirlwind recruiting journey, and I'll spare you the whole story, but I ended up switching my commitment to University of Florida my junior year of high school. I had always seen UF as one of my dream schools growing up in the gym in middle school, seeing UF win 3 in a row, national championships. I was like any other gymnast in the country who really looked up to those athletes and wanted to be out there on the college gymnastics floor. And knowing that UF was such an amazing school and had such an amazing gymnastics program and athletics in general, I put them at the top of my recruiting list and actually found out that the scholarships were full right after my 8th grade year. And I had 40 other schools on my list. So I moved on to the next and kept looking for a place for me, but things changed. I was a level 10 gymnast starting in my 8th grade year and decided I wanted to go to be an elite gymnast and train elite, which is kind of the highest level that's out there. For non-gymnastics fans, that's the level that you have to be at to be an Olympian. I was very far from going to the Olympics, but that's the best way to explain it. And that was something that I had dreamed of doing since I was really young. And still to this day, one of my proudest accomplishments of my life, that I actually did qualify as an elite gymnast and competed elite for a couple of years. And that is definitely one of the things that caught the coaches here at Florida's eye when I started getting better in the gym and competing well at the elite meets, and got recruited during my junior year. I took a visit down here during spring break and committed the next day. I just fell in love with the campus and the overall family vibes here at UF. And it still boggles my mind how different my life would be if I was at a different school. I think I've had so many opportunities, from in school to in gymnastics to NIL and other entrepreneurial ventures that I've been working on while here at UF, that, you know, I feel like I've really grown into a different person from when I got here. And I'm really proud of all the things I've learned and excited to see what's next as well.
Well, you're from Ann Arbor, aren't you?
I am, yes. And my sister
there was no Michigan pressure, you know, no maize and blue. You chose orange and blue instead of maize and blue.
I did choose orange and blue, but my sister chose maize and blue because she is a freshman on the University of Michigan gymnastics team right now.
Sorry to hear that. Real quick, who was your biggest inspiration? Was there another gymnast, or who was it that inspired you or motivated you to if there was anyone?
I think I'm the type of person that can really find inspiration in anybody. I didn't necessarily have one idol growing up in the gym. I always loved watching the elite gymnastics competitions and the Olympics and comparing what I could do with what they were doing, and really just trying to see myself in their shoes when I got a little bit older and better in the gym, and just seeing people that were better than me, whether it was in my own gym, the athletes that were a couple years older or a couple levels higher, just looking up to them and looking up to people I was seeing on TV. Having those role models definitely showed me that there's an awesome path to take in gymnastics, and motivated me to see how much better I could be and start reaching for higher heights. And on top of that, my family, just, they're incredible and they inspire me in all sorts of different ways. And I'm so thankful for all the support they've given me over the years, especially my parents and my sister, who I had the great blessing to train with her for many years at my club gymnastics gym in Michigan. So we're definitely bonded over gymnastics, and it's really cool that we both get to experience NCAA gymnastics now.
That's awesome. Leah, I want to talk to you a little bit about the Gatorverse and about some of the things that you're doing with NIL. Before we do that, always want to plug the Gatorverse on this show. Go visit them, Gatorverse.io. And something really cool that they're doing with the gymnastics program is that any purchase at Gatorverse.io for a gymnast card will gain you admission into the Balance 180 program on March 25th, where they'll learn the training secrets, train on some floor exercises, and meet the squad. There's also going to be a virtual meet and greet for those unable to attend the trip up to Gainesville. So go visit the Gatorverse.io.
Leah, how do we get you on the floor?
That's a great question, Nick.
What do you mean by that?
Might as well give it a shot. You know,
I want to see Dan develop a floor routine.
You can dance a little bit.
Yeah, he is quite the dancer.
Yeah, I am a dancer, big dancer. I have never tried a back handspring. I've never really tried to bounce or to move around. But yeah, I feel like my dance moves are there. If I can figure out the gymnastics part of a floor routine, I think, you know, some perfect 10s across the board.
Oh,
I think it's more of a comedy routine than a floor routine for us at least.
Well, how about this? If 20 people buy Gatorverse cards for the gymnastics program, I will go up on March 25th and learn how to do a floor routine. Might not be good, might come back paralyzed, but it was worth it to help the athletes, right?
Dan, give me the Stadium and Gale card. I'm buying 20.
I think you're going to have to do the floor routine if you're only setting the number at 20.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm
he
telling you
definitely
what,
gotta do it.
20, if we can find 20 people, I'll go up on March 25th and I'll put on my best leotard and we'll bounce around. How about that?
No leotard.
Leah, I want to talk a little bit about the Gatorverse and then NIL with you. Obviously, you were at the University of Florida as NIL got rolled out, but what kind of opportunities has that brought to you guys as a gymnastics program?
I really feel like NIL has changed the trajectory of my career for sure and opened up so many professional experiences that I wouldn't have had if it weren't for NIL. And I've done a lot of things in the NIL space. I saw it as an amazing opportunity I really wanted to take advantage of. And so I dove in right away. One of the main things that I've been doing is content creation for different brands. A lot of the things that I do for companies, I do on my own. So I'm creating social media advertisements for them and posting them on my Instagram or TikTok. And I love doing that kind of stuff. I've enjoyed making videos since I was in the elementary school. So it feels very much like a strong suit, but also something that I genuinely look forward to creating on a weekly basis. And one thing that's really cool about the Gatorverse, which I know we want to talk a little bit about that today, is it's a little bit more team aspect. So a lot of the brand deals that I've done through NIL have been individual, but this, we get to work together as a team to create something really awesome. And I'm excited to do the gymnastics clinic at the local gym for sure, because connecting with young fans and young gymnasts is so meaningful to me. And that's something that I've tried to bring into NIL a lot for sure. And one of the main ways that I've done that is by launching a gymnastics board game, which I teamed up with my former club gymnastics coach last fall to launch the first ever gymnastics board game, which was so much fun. And getting to spread smiles to hundreds, if not thousands, of gymnasts across the country was extremely rewarding. And it was just really cool that I could now use my status as a Gator gymnast to market that. And that's not something I would have been able to do before the NIL regulations changed. So I'm just really thankful for all of the things that I've gotten to do in the NIL space. I've got some other businesses coming up that I'm working on, but it's been great. And yeah, the next thing on the agenda is posting my Gatorverse video that I created and looking forward to that upcoming gymnastics clinic for sure.
Leah, top gymnast in the United States here. You have an NIL company called NIL Island. You're working on what I believe is your second master's degree. It looks like you might have even been a teacher's assistant for one of the NIL classes at UF. How do you balance all of this, and where do you get your inspiration and drive in the NIL space?
That's a wonderful question, and I don't think that balance is necessarily the right word, because there's always a lot going on. And I think the way that I do it all is by choosing to do things that fill me up with energy. And I know that if something excites me, that I'm going to put my full effort into it and go after it. And I can always stop doing things or set boundaries, say no later. But a theme of my college gymnastics career has been trying to take advantage of all the opportunities that are presented to me that really align with who I am and my values. And I've just gotten to do so many things while here at UF, which has been, I feel like, really setting me up for success, which is very exciting. And the other thing I will say is I'm a person that hates sitting still. I do not like to relax. And I've realized recently that, I need to rest my mind and I need to rest my body, of course, but those things don't happen at the same time for me. So going inside the gym and moving my body, getting all my physical energy out is one of my favorite things in the world. I just love flipping around, and I really quiet my mind from everything else that's happening outside of gymnastics while I'm at practice 90% of the time. And that helps me be able to really focus all my mental energy on school and other projects that I'm doing, including NIL Island outside of the gym. And I'm resting my body, but I allow my mind to, do creative pursuits and go after things I'm interested in.
Man, Lord, like you got me excited. I don't know why, but a lot of big lingo there. What I'm a big music guy, and my favorite part of gymnastics is the floor routine. We talked about Dan's routine that we're gonna do in the future here. What goes into your music decisions when creating your floor routine?
Oh, that's a fabulous question. I've always struggled to find floor music across the years because you just want it to be perfect. You want it to fit you. You want to be able to dance naturally to it. And you want it to also hype up the crowd. And so it's a big decision at the beginning of every year and one that's so exciting. But one thing that has really helped me in the past couple of years find the perfect music is I just have an ongoing Spotify playlist all year long. So whenever something comes up that I'm like, ooh, or I get the urge to dance to it or think about, oh, this would be a cool beat before a tumbling pass or anything that feels like it would be a good floor tee, I just stick it in my floor music ideas playlist. And then by the time it rolls around to pick new music for my next year's routine, I've got this whole playlist of ideas and I choose my favorites and I work with our incredible choreographer, Jeremy James Miranda, who also does the mixes for our floor routine music, and he's amazing. And he'll really take the vision that I have in my mind for my music and piece it together into something amazing that builds for the tumbling passes and allows time for dance. And then we work together in a sprint session at the gym for about 3 hours, choreographing the routine at the beginning of the year.
And does he also help to figure out when your Gator chomp comes into your routine?
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm always trying to find some climax point of like a big like boom or something where the chomp can fit, and then we pick a location and stick it in there. That's my favorite part. And bringing it back to just the sport of Gator Nation, I think that moment of doing a chomp on the floor in the O-Dome with everybody in the arena doing it with you is just, it's indescribable, and moments that I will cherish forever.
We have a question from somebody that's watching along from Brandon Connell, said, who's the best dancer on the team?
Oh my goodness. That's a really good question. Nobody in particular is necessarily coming up to my mind because everybody has their own style. And some of us are super elegant and dancey like Leanne and Riley, and others are more hip-hoppy and fun like Sloan, and some of us are in between like myself. I would say I have kind of a jazzy, sharp style. Everybody, I think, does a really good job performing their routines in the way that feels right and most natural to them. And that's something that we work really hard on with our choreographer, because performance is a huge aspect of it. Like, you might think all of the scoring comes from the tumbling passes and how they look, but gymnastics is a subjective sport, and the judges definitely taking into consideration the artistry and just the feelings that you evoke in the judges and the crowd while you're performing your routine on the floor. And the beam too. I mean, there's dance over there as well. It's just a little different.
That's a dance that I would definitely fall down. I'm not a great dancer to begin with, but there's definitely for me no dancing on the beam. We're up there trying to survive, just trying to stand.
Yeah, that's something that I'm gonna probably have to leave the dancing at home for. Thanks, Matt. I can't wait to see my my floor routine as well. But Leah, before we get you on the show, we spent a good portion of the morning show talking about Anthony Richardson here. So we're gonna have you, in your experience as an elite gymnast, judge Anthony Richardson here. It looks like there might be a little bit of a back handspring. There's a backflip, but I need you to give. We have to consider all the pieces of it, right? The technical pieces of it too, not just how cool it looks.
He's injured
Anthony
as well.
Richardson giving his backflip before the game. So we're gonna play it here, and then you just got to give us a score.
Leah, this hamstring.
What do we give that?
Okay. Well, I do have to give him some props for amplitude because he is on hard turf and definitely went really high. I would say the hurdle was a little bit funky. It wasn't gymnastics technique for sure. If he had grown up in the gym, that is not how it would look, but it definitely worked for him. So he made it work. I'm not going to take any deductions for that. I think the biggest deduction would be the landing. He took about 6 or 7 or 8 steps back.
Yeah.
He really went running. He did not stick it. So that'll cost him a little bit. But I'll give him I'll have to take like about 1/10 of a deduction for each step because those are the gymnastics rules. But otherwise,
do you add any for doing it with a helmet on?
Right.
So I would personally love to add some points for doing it with football pads and helmet on because that is extremely tough and definitely blocks your line of sight. So it would be really difficult to find the landing when you can't even see in every peripheral vision area. So I guess, in gymnastics, they never give you points back. They only take away.
No.
But in this case, I'll give them a few back, and I'll give them a 9.7 out of 10. I think it was pretty impressive.
I love that.
Dan Mullen gave him about a 7.
Oh, man.
Wasn't impressed at all.
Oh, man. Well, Leah, thank you so much. Go ahead and plug social media. Go ahead and plug anything else that you want before we get you off the show today. And thanks so much for spending some time with us this morning.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. You can pretty much find everything on my Instagram at Leah Clapper, spelled just like my name. I'm at Leah Clapper on TikTok and Twitter as well. I'm pretty active on TikTok, posting videos on a regular basis. And then if anybody is interested in checking out NIL Island for any reason, it is nilisland.com.
I love it. Well, again, Leah, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Best of luck going into the postseason, and congratulations on all your success. And I would imagine continued success as well.
Thank you, Leah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot.
We'll see you soon. Leah Clapper with the UF Gymnastics program. Again, go check them out on the Gatorverse